All right, we are back now with Beyonce and her new album that has generated a lot of buzz, but now a lot of backlash from Monica Lewinsky to Kellis to songwriters and disability rights activists have all taken issue with the Queen Bee herself. Beyonce, who's a megastar, has had some hiccups on the way to the top, but nothing quite like this. So what's going on, and is any of the criticism fair? The Grammy Award-winning artist's seventh album, Renaissance, is still topping music charts and breaking streaming service records all over the place, despite all the negative press. So to explain what's happening, I want to bring in JASMINE Simpkins from HipHollywood.com. JASMINE, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's one of my favorite topics, Beyonce.
Yeah.
So.
No, it is. And usually it's all positive, but I want to start kind of where the controversy started, right? And it started with the word that people who have disabilities and disability rights activists don't care for at all. And Lizzo had the same problem at the beginning of summer. So, we're not going to really talk about the word. People can look up what the word is.
Yes.
But was that criticism fair?
I think it was fair. I mean, it's considered an ableist term. We'll say that. It's an S word that a lot of people in the community have really helped to educate everyone about. And I think I love that both Lizzo and Beyonce took the step, because I think this is going to help moving forward, even with other artists, to make sure even when they're writing songs and before they put their work out, that they're being mindful of ways that they could be hurting multiple communities. And I think this was a very, very good example of how you as an artist can be sensitive to other communities.
So she fixes that one, and then the pylon sort of starts. So then Kellis comes after her, right? She had that famous song Milkshake.
Yes.
And the sampling, I think it's called, the word here is interpolation, which something I had to look up.
Yeah.
But there was a problem with that. So what's the drama with this?
So Kellis
Kellis, sorry.
She's the artist who put out the song Milkshake, but she didn't write the song. So it was Pharrell and Chad Hugo of the Neptunes. And she's talked before about how she doesn't make any money off of her first two albums because they get the publishing rights, because they wrote and produced the song. So it's an unfortunate thing for her, but I think she was just triggered by the fact that yet again, I think that song we've all heard, Milkshake, in various forms.
So catchy.
It's so catchy. So can you imagine having put out one of the biggest pop songs of the 2000s and you don't really make a lot of money unless you're performing it on stage? So I can understand her anger and her frustration, but the truth of the matter is it's the music business. And
and I get it. And apologies for Kellis over Kellis. And then she gets called out. Beyonce gets called out again by a songwriter who's a somewhat prominent songwriter, but basically saying on Beyonce's tracks, you'll notice there's dozens of names under writers of songs. If you look at somebody like, say, Prince, who was great and one of a kind, just like Beyonce, there's just one name, and it's Prince's name. So people are taking issue with that. Is that fair?
So Diane Warren obviously is just like this amazing songwriter. I Will Always Love You. She's worked with Beyonce even. So, I mean, I think that when she inserts herself in the conversation, it's not just anybody. She knows what she's talking about. But I think she does forget that, there can be multiple cooks in the kitchen. Diane is just one of these, legendary songwriters who does things solo. She's like, I don't need anyone to help me write a song. In this case, Beyonce decided to credit multiple people whose songs she sampled and decided to say, hey, I want to make sure that I am acknowledging everyone, which I think is the theme of this album. She's really trying to be super inclusive.
And then the songwriter took back the tweet, sort of apologized, right?
Yes.
Kind of walked it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Didn't want to take on Beyonce on Twitter.
Or the Beehive.
Finally, the Monica Lewinsky one is sort of the craziest one of all these. Monica Lewinsky put out a tweet after some of the backlash over Beyonce. This is the tweet here. And she's like, while we're at it, I think the song is called Partition, right?
Yes.
We can't really talk about what the lyrics were on this song.
No.
But she obviously referenced that very infamous thing that happened to Monica Lewinsky that she was obviously a part of. What happens here? I mean, does this change? It can't be changed. I mean, it's an older song.
It was from 2013.
Yeah.
So, Monica, if you had an issue, you should have said something then. But the truth of the matter is that I think she has enjoyed being part of pop culture references over this, 20 years since the incident with her and Bill Clinton happened. I mean, she's even talked about how 40 artists have name dropped her in songs. So Beyonce's just one of a list. I think there will be more. And I think that she kind of likes that she's being talked about and referenced, and she inserted herself in the conversation.
I don't know if she likes it, but it's part of American history. Anyway, you cut it.
At this point, yeah.
Okay, JASMINE, thanks so much. Great having you on Top Story. We appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching Top Story from Los Angeles tonight. A big thank you to our team here. Stay right there. More news on the way.